All right. What's your name and your birth date?
My name is Ronald Caleb Harding, March 13th, 1941.
All right. What's your name and your birth date?
My name is Ronald Caleb Harding, March 13th, 1941.
Right there. Here. All right. This is our documentary on the life of Ronald Caleb Harding. And I'm here with my son Dylan, and we're going to go through all of the life events. So tell us when you were born, where you lived, and where you were born.
I was born in New Bedford, Massachusetts, 1941, and I was born and raised in the town of Bowen.
Awesome. So what are your parents' names?
Alberta V. Harding and Morris Belmont Harding.
And what was Morris known as?
Well, he was a heavy equipment operator. He was a boxing trainer. He was a no-nonsense dad that believed that you start something, you finished it.
All right. What was his nickname?
Buster.
Buster. You didn't want to get busted by Buster.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well, what kind of things did you guys do as kids? And how many kids were there?
Well, we started out with, there was 7 of us, and my uncle passed away. Actually, his wife passed away, and they had 5 kids. And so my mother took on the responsibility, and we started having 12 kids in the family.
Okay. What were your brothers and sisters' names?
Morris Harding Jr., then myself, and Hazel Harding, my sister, then my brother Walter, my brother David, my sister Gail, who passed on in a vital, very bad accident, and my brother Gary was the last of the boys.
Okay. And what were the names of your uncle's kids?
Oh man.
If you don't remember, that's okay. That's okay. I can look it up anyway.
Yeah.
So what was a typical day in the Harding house?
Well, my job was to get up in the morning in cold weather, and I'd have to light the kindling and get the fire going,
Right.
and then I had to go get a bucket of coal to put on it so that there'd be warmth in the house when the rest of the family got up.
Right. Okay.
So,
And you guys did a lot of fishing?
we did a lot of fishing, caught a lot of herring. We ate a lot of herring.
Right.
Yep. And so we caught them. My dad used to have a 55-gallon drum, cut down a bit, and he had a big net, and we'd go down to the herring run and fill the barrel up, go home, and start
Right.
getting them ready to pickle them in salt, and then we used to hang them on racks, and we had to go down and pick ferns so that he started a fire in the shed, and then that would cure the herring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you do trapping and clamming?
A lot of clamming. We didn't do too much trapping, but we would go out and we'd hunt for meat. We had deer meat in the winter. We had rabbits,
Right.
and my mother would can the vegetables
Mm-hmm.
in the summer months, and then she would can and we had salt pork. We had pigs. My dad used to kill the pigs, and we had a lot of meat from them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then, what kind of garden did you guys have?
Well, it was a big garden. It was probably, I'd say just less than an eighth of a mile long, and probably, about 30 yards wide.
Right.
And we planted potatoes, corn, tomatoes, corn, all kind of vegetables,
Right.
squash, and
Okay. And then, when you went and did the herring, how'd you catch the herring?
great big. My dad used to use a great big net. I mean, it was huge, and he only needed to fill that net up about 5 times, 6 times, and the barrel would be full.
Right.
And then we'd just get in the pickup and head back to home, and we'd start processing them then.
Okay. And how many times a month would you go with the herring?
We'd probably go once a month, but we had to get enough herring so that we supplied the natives down in the valley so that they could have herring to eat. And the way he packaged them, we'd use newspaper,
Mm-hmm.
and would put a dozen in each pack, and he'd deliver them to the tribal members in Bourndale,
Okay.
and some in Mashpee,
Mm-hmm.
and some people used to depend on those to eat,
Right.
and then we were lucky we got the herring road. Yeah.
Right. So then, so you had 12 kids in the house.
12 kids in the house, and everybody had a chore.
Right.
Yeah. The girls would wash the clothes and hang them out.
Okay, tell me about the kids in the house. You had 12 kids in the house.
We had 12 kids in the house,
Uh,
and we shared bedrooms. The girls would sleep in one, and The boys would sleep in the other two, and we had blankets, but we also had deer skin blankets that my dad took and fixed them so they wouldn't smell real bad. But that's what we slept at night, and we stayed very warm, and that got us through the winter. We did have coal, and like I said, I used to start the fire and get them get them going in the morning. And my brother, Morris B. Harding Sr., he'd be in charge of getting the buckets of coal to put on the stove and keep the house warm most of the day.
Right. And so everybody'd have to bathe and everybody'd have to eat. What was that like?
Well, we had to take turns eating. We had to take turns taking baths. We had 2 tubs, and of course the boys would start out by doing tubs on some days, and on other days the girls would have their time, and we just kept water on the stove because that's how we had hot water. We heated it in tubs on the stove, and
right.
Yeah.
How long would it take for everybody to take a bath?
It probably took a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours for everybody to get a bath and get cleaned up. And we had an outside toilet, and everybody took turns, and you didn't have to flush. You just go out there and take care of business, and yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then what about eating? How did that work?
We all took times. I mean, we all ate at different times. Some of us would pair up and would take a dish and would go sit in the living room at a table around the TV when we first got one, and that was a big deal.
Did the older kids run in and eat all the food, or?
No, actually, the younger kids would eat first, and then the older kids would finish up, and then it was time for everybody to take a day where they did the dishes, and say we went for the laundry. Mostly the girls would start the laundry, and then the guys would go out and help hang up the clothes and whatnot. And then, of course, everybody pitched in and folded them. How
did the clothes all get washed?
Well, we had a scrub pad or whatever you called it. It was ripples up and down, and you just take your hand and run it up and down,
and then hang them on clotheslines.
And hang them on clotheslines. Yep.
Right. Okay. All right. Was there many fights?
Well, my dad would put it in the cellar and put the boxing gloves on everybody. Even the girls, they had a chance to get warmed up so that they could defend themselves. And Pepper and I and Gary and Walter, we used to fight in the police athletic league over at the community building, and a couple of us went to Golden Gloves in New Bedford.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I'm going to cut all this other stuff out, but what kind of abuse did you have?
Oh well, sometimes you just got to switch, and if he was close by, he'd whack you with a hammer handle or anything he could put his hands on quick. He kept everybody toeing the mark. And even when we went to school, we all went to school, we all went to church, but when you came home, you got a chance to get old clothes on, and if you took too long to do that, he'd fix that for you. A belt, a stick, or anything. And everybody really toed the mark.
So I remember hearing there was a time when you and Pepper tried to stop him.
Well, Pepper said, we don't have to take this anymore, and he said, let's get him. And so we decided that I would hit him I'd hit him high and Pepper would hit him low and take him down to the ground. And my father must have known something was up because he started bracing himself. He said, "Well, who's first?" and I said, "Not me." And Pepper got up and he ran. Yeah, Pepper ran down to the end of the street, and we called it off, and we thought we got away with it. But when he finally got us back where he could set us down and talk to us, he said, "Bend over, I got something for you." Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd never try that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he beat up Grandma a few times too, huh?
Oh, that was very sad for the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to take out things on my mother if the work wasn't done. He used to penalize her for it, and he'd give her a couple of walks for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was bad for the kids. But nobody could really do much about it at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she got him back, though, right? She got him back, though, right? Eventually.
Well, yeah. Well, one night during a real snowstorm, he started beating her, and I jumped out of the upstairs window and went up to the nearest telephone, a place called Atwood's, and I was able to get a hold of the police, call the police. I think we had to put 10 cents in, and I had it. And I was barefooted, and the police came, and they picked me up and took me back in the police car, and got down to the house and talked to my father, and they finally decided to take him away for the night. And so my mother was scared that when he got out that we really was going to be in trouble, so everybody packed up whatever they could take for clothes, and we went to the Methodist Church in Bourne, and we got to sleep there, and and they took him away and they locked him up for a while. And so
They did some shock treatments on him.
They took him to Taunton Mental Hospital,
right.
and they started giving him shock treatments, which were I used to go visit him, and he used to say that was one of the worst things that ever happened to him in his life.
Yeah.
But,
I just drove by there when I came back from the store. Yep. And your mom got left out in the snow.
Yep.
Yeah. It's tough stuff.
Yeah.
Well, but it wasn't all bad. You'd get in the truck with him, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. He used to take me to work with him. He was a heavy equipment bulldozer operator in the summertime, and he taught me how to drive a TD-14 Caterpillar bulldozer, and he was working for the Sorrenti brothers,
right?
And they allowed him to teach me to drive heavy equipment and drive flatbed trucks where the bulldozer was transported on.
Yeah.
So I learned very early in life to handle heavy equipment and machinery.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you guys would take all the food. So you and Pepper would help him take food around.
We used to go all down through the relatives, the Native Americans that, especially in the winter, they all needed a little help, and the herring came in really good, and people expected it, after we did a catch, and we kept some on hand and took them down once a week down in the valley. Yeah.
Did you go out toward Mashpee? Out toward the tip?
Yeah. all the way out by Mashpee and Cotuit and a few other places in that area.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me about Sundays. You guys.
On Sundays?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sundays you had to get up and do your very best and get ready, and would go to church at the Methodist Church in Bourne,
Mm-hmm.
and we finished up there around 12 o'clock, and then we'd all get in the back of the pickup, and we'd go to the Herring Pond Native Church, and we'd spend a good part of the afternoon there.
Right.
Yeah,
It was an all-day affair.
yeah.
Let's take a break for a second. All right. So all of you played sports.
We all played sports. Yep.
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 I was a catcher on the Little League team,
Uh huh.
and that went well. And I also was a right fielder.
Uh huh.
That went well. We had a lot of fun doing that. We joined the Boy Scouts, and the Boy Scout building was right by the baseball field. So it was probably a mile and a half down, and we had to hitchhike down there, and we often got a ride, especially if we had our baseball uniforms on.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then my mother would pick us up. My dad wasn't really a baseball fan until it came to big teams, town teams, men playing,
Mm-hmm.
and so we used to go watch them. And
Right.
yeah,
Okay. And then what sports did the other? You just played baseball or you boxed?
oh
or-
no, we played basketball, football, baseball,
Mm-hmm.
boxing. We trained amongst ourselves in our basement. My dad had a gym down there where he trained other boxers, from Mashpee, a couple of guys from Buzzards Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one named Charlie Cadoza. He was a very good boxer, and his brother Paul was Massachusetts light heavyweight champion,
Okay.
and he probably hit me harder than any guy I ever boxed, except for when I got knocked out in my effort to learn in the army, and I never told too many people about that, but I quit boxing at that time. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Grandpa boxed, right?
Yes, he boxed. He trained with Marciano, who was a famous heavyweight, and he didn't weigh that much. He wasn't a heavyweight,
Right.
but he trained with him, and he trained with quite a few up and coming boxers.
Mm-hmm.
And
You trained with Archie.
well, he didn't train with Archie Moore, but I didn't meet Archie Moore until I moved to Washington.
Okay.
And so Archie Moore and I would have lunch with our banker probably 3 or 4 times when we was out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you guys played football. You guys were all on the football team at the same time, right?
Papa and I was in the same at the same time,
Right.
and he was a tackle,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a guard, and he'd say, "All right, let's get him. You hit him high, I'll hit him low." And I don't know why, but his mouth sometimes was moving when he was tackling, and they said he's biting me. So, yeah, that didn't last long, but that was pretty comical. Yeah,
Yeah. I think that was payback.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Gary was a pretty good athlete, right?
Gary was a very good athlete. Yeah, they expected him. In fact, I think he got a scholarship to go to Kansas State.
Kansas State, right?
Yeah,
For
and so-
basketball and football.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, he was all in the papers out here
yeah.
as the superstar, huh?
But in school was pretty tough for me because I I didn't have such good grades like my brother Morris. We called him Pepper.
Right.
Yeah, he was he had the smarts in the family,
Right. Right.
and I'd go to school and I'd go find my fishing pole that I hid down by the canal, and when they had resets, I'd go catch fish in the canal and go home.
Right.
So I made it to the 10th grade, but some of the problems I had in younger school, it was pretty difficult. We was out on the playground one afternoon, and for whatever reason, one of the guys called me a nigger. And my dad said, if anybody calls you a nigger, you put the wood to him. And so I kind of beat him up. And after recess, it wasn't after recess, during recess, they came and got me and took me to the office. And so the principal said, "Wow, what did you beat him up for?" And I said, "He called me a nigger." And the principal said, "Well, you are." And he slapped me across my face so hard that it left a mark of his hand on my face. And I just ran out and I ran home, which was about a 3 or 4 minute run.
Right.
Where we lived. And my mother looked at me. She said, "What in the world happened to you? Was you fighting again?" I said, "No. The principal took and slapped me." And she said, "What for?" And I told her. And I told her that he said, "Well, I told him that you know, I had to fight because one of them said I was a nigger, and I beat him up, and I told the principal, was that why?" And he said, "Well, you are." And that's when he slapped me. And so I went running home, and my mom, I'll never forget, was on the floor in dungarees, washing the floor by hand. And she had a rag around her head. And when I told her what happened, she jumped up and she said, I'll meet you at the principal's office." and she ran so fast I couldn't keep up with her. But when I got up there, she had her hand around his neck with his collar twisted. And he kept saying, I'm sorry, Mrs. Harding, that will never ever happen again." And she said, "And you better believe it, because if it does, I'm going to take your head off." And so that pretty much ended that. But that didn't get me any. That didn't get me any favors at the school from then on out. And so I finished school at the beginning of the 10th grade.
Right.
And I had been getting in trouble for skipping school and whatnot, one thing or another, staying out late and everything. And my mother said, "You know, I think it would be a good idea for you to go in the Army." And I said, "Well, I'll think about it when the time comes." Little behold, she woke me up one morning and she said, "We're going to go out to breakfast this morning." And I said, "Man, that's something. We never go out to breakfast."
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, we're going to go to breakfast today. Hop in the car." And so I got in and we went up to the soda shop. They called it Atwood's at that time. And I went in and she said, "I want to introduce you to a few people." And I looked and there was the chief of police on one side and the Army recruiter on the other side.
Yeah.
She said, "You're going in the Army." I said, "I can't go now because I don't have any clothes." And she said, "I got your suitcase in the trunk of the car." You need to stop it.
You need to take a break. I'm gonna grab my I'm gonna grab my charger.
Yep.
You want something to drink?
I had something. Yep, I said I can't go. And she said, yeah, you can because your clothes are in the car. Boy, that really messed me up. That.
Plug that in, please. Where that other black one is. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hmm. Turn these away for a minute.
Yeah. Most of the kids would call you nigger.
Yeah.
They had no problem in those days calling you a nigger.
Right.
Yeah. And my dad said, put it on them.
Hmm.
Yeah. Make them remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I put it on them too, boy.
So what was the general treatment that how was the family treated versus in the community and whatnot?
Well, they wouldn't never label us as being Indian,
Right.
although it was on our birth certificates. And my dad was proof of that.
Mm-hmm.
And they was always trying to arrest him for shooting deer to feed the family and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. But
I know him.
yes, I can feel it. Yeah, and so they separated us from the rest of from the rest of the kids, and there was a family by the name of Cardozas that was down the street, but they were Portuguese, and they were dark skinned, but for some reason they called them white anyway.
Right.
Even when I went in the service, they asked me what nationality I was, and I said I was Indian and black. And by the time I got to my paperwork, which they had filled out, they had an N down there. And I said, what does that N represent? And one guy said nigger, and they laughed, and the other guy said, no, that means you're a Negro.
Right.
And they never ever changed it. Yep.
They were ruthless in those days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring this back so you can get up under the out of the rain.
Watch it, Adobo. Move. Taking Diane to the prom,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and she couldn't figure out why I would take her to the prom, and we wasn't hardly any good friends. But she was the only.
Oh, right here, Dad.
She was the only darker skin.
Mm-hmm.
Diane?
She was the only darker skin in town, and so I was trying to figure out who I was going to take to the prom, and Hazel said, "Take Diane Mendes." And I said, "Well, I don't know her that well, but I knew her well, but not enough to ask her that." Anyway, I asked her, and she jumped for joy. Yep.
All right. So, so they took you and made you go into the army,
Yep. Fort Dix, New Jersey.
right?
Yep. And so I went down there and I took basic training. And they asked me what things I did, and I said, well, I would. I'm a heavy equipment operator. I know how to drive a bulldozer, a grader, and a backhoe. And they said, well, what other things did you do? And I said, well, in high school I used to do a little bit of shop, you know, working with wood and stuff like that. And so they said, okay, that's fine. When it came time for me to go and get into a company, be assigned to a company, they said, well, you're going to go and you're going to be a carpenter. And I said, a carpenter? I don't know that much about being carpenter work, and I was hoping to get in as a heavy equipment operator. And they said, well, you got time for that, we'll see. And anyway, I started out, my MOS was 5'11", that was a carpenter. And they sent me to Missouri. And they tried to teach me a carpenter, and I didn't want to be one, so that didn't go so good. Yeah. So anyway, it was time to send me overseas. They wanted to send me to Germany, and I went to a signal depot, and I was put into the carpenter side of it. We built. It was like a big, wide open building with no offices. So what they were having me doing was to help the Germans build offices and separate them and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go? Were you in Fort Huachuca before you went there?
No. I was in when I came back from after I signed up again. I went to Fort Huachuca.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was at Fort Huachuca where they finally gave me a chance to do heavy equipment.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So they put you in the carpenter thing again. You went to Germany.
Yeah.
And then what bases were you on in Germany?
I was at Sullivan Barracks.
Okay.
And
And which cities?
Mannheim, Germany.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'd go to lunch every day, and in the afternoon there was another fellow and myself. The first sergeant and the company commander used to say, come on, let's play some pool. And so we started playing pool after every lunch.
Yeah.
And they started bringing beer, and then next week they'd bring cognac and things like that. And this other guy was really a real good pool shooter, so between him and I, we'd never let them win. And so along those lines, one day we was beating them so bad, the company commander said, we can't beat you in pool, but we can kick your ass. And I said, okay, bring it on. And so they came over close, and before they could do anything, I clocked them. And so, I've had, you can't give an Indian a whole lot of drinks and expect them to,
Right.
you know, not act like a
Yeah.
savage Indian. Anyway,
So did you start boxing when you were in Mannheim? Over there?
I did start boxing,
Yeah.
yeah, and I forget the place, but anyway, I thought I was real good, and I ran up, and that was all. It was Army, Navy, Marines. All the guys were participating,
Right.
and I fought a Navy guy, and next thing I know, I was trying to pick myself off the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and with a little help, I got up and went into the dressing room, and I said, "That's it, I'm done." Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was the end of the boxing.
Yeah.
But anyway, after playing after playing pool, I had that fight with the company commander and the first sergeant, and we had a good little fight, but it didn't go long because everybody grabbed me, and the other guy that was playing, he
Right.
got out of there, and the next thing I know, they called the MPs and they got me and took me down and they put me in Hitler's prison in Mannheim, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they gave me a court martial, and I was a E4 then,
Hmm.
and they gave me a court martial, and they gave me 6 months in jail, and they took all my stripes. And so I was in there, and they said, "What can you do? How can you help?" And I said, "Well, I can cut hair. I can cut all
Right.
my brother's hairs."
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, you're a barber," and that's where I started. That's what I did. And so I was in there about a month and a half, and I got a visit from the sergeant major of the battalion, and he came up to visit me, and he said, "You know, we got word that you beat up the company commander,
Right.
and I wanna find out what happened." And I went and I told him everything that what we did, and after chow, we'd go down and shoot pool and bet. And he said, "Well, how did the fight start?" And I told him that. He said, "Well, if we can't beat you on the pool table, we'll
Big ant. It's a big ant.
yeah yeah we'll kick your ass." And I said, and that didn't last but a minute because I put a good one on him too.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, "Well, you know, I don't." He said, "They came down and told us what happened up there, and they had no reason to charge you and not charge them. Those
Right.
are your superiors."
Right.
He said, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of questions I want you to just be frank with me." He said, "If I get you out of here and get your stripes back, would you go back to the same company, or would you want to get transferred to someplace else in the battalion?" He said, "I can make either one of those happen." And I got to thinking, I got this girlfriend up there. I get transferred. I ain't gonna see her no more, and everything. I said, "Well, you know what? I really think that I could get along up there. They ain't gonna bother me no more. They learned their lesson on that part."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "I'm gonna make it happen."
Right.
And so just a few days later, out come the Jeep, the company Jeep. "Ron, get your stuff. Get your stuff. You're going home."
Mm.
And so I got my stuff and I went back to the company, and they treated me fine. I got all my things set up and everything. I went to the depot and I started working, and then a few days they called me in and they said, "You're getting ready to go to TDY." And I said, "TDY? I don't want to go to TDY."
Mm-hmm.
They said, "Well, you make more money, and you can come back down and visit,
Right.
and everything." And I thought, "Where am I going TDY at?" And they said, "You're going to Air Force Base. You're going to go TDY to the Air Force
Mm-hmm.
at Chambly Air Force Base." And so I said, "Well, I'll try it. There's a chance I can come back if it doesn't work out." He said, "Well, if you don't do the work, if you don't learn how to run printing presses, then you'll probably come back."
Yeah.
And that was I didn't know at that time that was another way of getting me the heck out of that company.
Right, right.
And so I got up there and I liked it. It was good duty. I was getting TDY pay, and after a while, they asked me to what I work in the office's mess,
Uh-huh.
and I said yes, I'll try that.
Right.
And I got in there as a waiter, and they I was in there a waiter, but a cook didn't show up one night. And I said, well, I can help out. I can help cook. And there was a black lady that was in charge, and she said, you know what? We should probably keep you. You do good. And so I ended up being full time. And besides that, and going to see Bridget's mother.
Yeah. That was your girlfriend that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so eventually Bridget came along,
Yeah.
and at that time Charles de Gaulle said he didn't want any more American troops in France, and that all the troops had to go.
Right.
And I got my orders, and they sent me right back to the battalion, not the same company. They sent me back to the battalion, and the battalion was notified that they needed to pack up on a certain day and get ready and they were going to Vietnam. And at that time I had like, I think it was 6 months left on my tour of duty. And they shipped us to Washington State. I forget the name of the Army base. Anyway, we got to the Army base in Washington, and they said, Spec 5 Harding, you got to take and re-enlist now. You can't get re-enlisted once you're in Vietnam. We're going to a combat zone, and you gotta re-enlist now. I said, I am not re-enlisted.
Yeah.
I'm done. I mean, I really never got a good chance to run a bulldozer. They let me do it part-time and all that. I want to get out in Seattle, and Pepper lived there. And so that was a good reason for me to get out and try to get a different start.
Right.
And so they kept saying, hey, we're getting ready to leave in a week. You gotta sign up. And finally they said, all right, if you're not gonna go, you're gonna be here by yourself, and you have to report to, I forget where it was. And I said, that's fine, I don't mind doing that. And then they said, you don't even have to report. We're gonna let you out early. We're gonna give you your papers, and you're done with the Army. And so I took that, and I got out. Yeah.
So you went to Fort Huachuca, then Washington, or?
Fort Huachuca.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I didn't go to. I went from there. I went back. I went back to. No, I didn't go back to Dillon. I went to Fort Knox. Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Okay.
And
So you started out in basic training at,
Fort Dix, New Jersey.
and then you went to,
I went to Fort Leonard, Missouri,
and then you went from there to,
Germany.
okay. And then your first stop coming back from Germany was,
I got.
well, you went to France from Germany,
Mhm.
and that's where you were getting the pay, the upper,
Right.
the higher
Yeah.
pay. and
TDY,
in the
yes.
mess hall.
They call it TDY.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went from there,
Back to the United States.
to which base?
Fort Lewis, Washington.
Okay.
Fort Lewis, Washington. That's where I got discharged at.
Okay.
But,
I'm missing when you went to Fort Huachuca.
when I got out of Fort Leonard Wood, they transferred me to Fort Huachuca, Arizona. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that means you went from there to Germany?
I went from there to Fort Knox.
Okay.
I went from there to Fort Knox.
Okay.
and then I went from there to Germany.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And then when you came back, you went to Fort Lewis.
yeah,
Okay, got it.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So when anyway,
His wife, the car broke down. That's why he's.
come on.
It's always when I leave.
You gotta go home, boy. Yeah.
Feeling that married pressure.
And the anger pressure.
And you know what? All those records of them locking me up and the fight, and it says I got court-martialed, but it doesn't say I went to prison.
Yeah.
And I tried to get them records. You know what they told me?
Hmm.
That your records burned up and caught on fire.
Hmm.
And that's the way it stands today.
Mm-hmm.
They said a certain amount of records got burned up, and I think it's Missouri that they had the records stored.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had an award for marksmanship,
Okay.
and when they recreated my records, they gave me no credit for marksmanship.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me no credit for going to what is that when you go back to school? GED.
Mm-hmm.
I went to GED school and got my diploma.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They didn't even put down there that I was qualified to be a heavy truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll talk about tow truck and all that. So,
tow trucks?
but we missed talking about what your mother did for a living and
Oh, okay.
all the ways she supported you guys.
Yep. Yep. My mother, when we had all those kids, she was taking in laundry
Mm-hmm.
from most of the people in Grey Gables,
Okay.
and they'd bring them to the house.
Mm-hmm.
My mother would wash them and dry them and fold them up really nice and everything,
Right.
and they'd come and pick them up, and that helped out. That
Right.
helped out there. And I forgot about me driving the truck
Right.
for the town of Bourne.
Mm-hmm.
I was the youngest truck driver, 16 years old, driving a big
Mm-hmm.
5-ton garbage truck.
Okay.
And the person that hired me,
Mm-hmm.
remember the guy that I beat up
Yeah.
and had to go to the office?
Yeah.
His father was a selectman.
Mm-hmm.
And his father called me aside. He said, I know you can drive. Can you drive one of these big garbage trucks? And I said,
Right.
sure. And he said, show up for work. Showed up for work. And I started driving.
Right.
And I'd pick up garbage every place.
Mm-hmm.
And every day I'd go to the garbage place and dump the garbage.
Right.
Yeah. And I had a guy that was helping me. He was an older guy. His name was Jiggy.
Mm-hmm.
Jiggy. And Jiggy he would work like crazy, and he'd keep looking at his watch and telling me, well, we only got a couple of hours. I can go get a case of beer.
Right.
Yeah, he was a drinking guy.
Uh-huh.
And then I found out that some of the people in the town that had no job,
Mm-hmm.
had families, were raising hell because he gave me that job.
Mm.
And he said that this man has got a big family. His mother is one of the great people in town, taking care of her kids and everything.
Right.
And he's there to help pay for those kids without being on welfare.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah,
What did Grandma do before she was at the post office?
that's what she was doing,
Okay.
laundry
The
and
laundry.
stuff like that.
Right, right.
Yeah. And she was singing.
Mm-hmm.
She was singing at the Melody Tent and places like that, and
Mm-hmm.
she was getting paid for that. And then my Aunt Grace said to her, "You need to take the test to go to work at the post office."
Okay.
And so she got a job at the post office, and she was dragging them big bags of mail around,
Mm-hmm.
pulling them up to the truck so when the truck came, the driver could throw them in the truck and
Right.
load. And then the position in Pocasset became available as postmaster.
Right.
And so she got that job.
Right.
She became the postmaster in
In Katomet.
Katomet.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And she used to travel all around. She used to travel all around the country for
Conferences.
conferences and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. She performed at them too, and she,
Uh huh.
they had her performing there
Yep. And
on cruise ships.
yep. Well, her and I used to take cruises together,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a cruise. We had a cruise going out of San Diego,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "I'd like to go on that cruise." And I said, "I'd like to go with you." And she said, "You got it." So she flew out, and Bridget drove us to San Diego to get on the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and we had just a regular cabin.
Right.
And so we got in this long line with everybody in their bags, dragging them along and everything. And a lady came out and she said, "You're in that wheelchair all the time?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, look at me." And she said, "Well, you better come with me." So she took me all the way around that line, all the way up to a line on the left-hand side. And she looked up our room and stuff, and she said, "Oh, we can do better than that."
Mhm.
She said, "You guys are going to get an outside cabin up top."
Right.
And that's what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
She told me they used to give her a hard time when she was first working at the post office down in Falmouth
Mm-hmm.
because she went in real early.
Mm-hmm.
And did she ever tell you about all that?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, on the way there, the police stopped her
Mm-hmm.
and said, "Where you going this early in the morning?"
Right.
And she said, "I'm going to work." He said, "Where you work at the post?" I'm the postmaster at the. Well, she wasn't postmaster then.
Right.
She said, "I'm working at the post office at Katomet."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, right." And so he said, "Well, go ahead on." And he followed her all the way to the post office.
Right. That's what I remember her saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
followed her all the way to the post office. And I think she went out and went,
Yeah. Yep. She did.
huh?
She told him
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. And so that was great. But listen to this. You know who was her helper?
Who's that?
His name was George Ekstrom.
I don't know the name.
It's Brenda's brother.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's Brenda's brother.
Okay.
That's how our family got so close with them.
Right.
And she loved my mother. She worked for my mother, and she was just dizzy blonde. Yeah,
Yeah. She's a nice lady.
she's a good person, boy.
Yep. So let's go back. You got out of the military,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh man, I got out of the military.
you went and got a job.
I went down to get a job with the union,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, my dad was in the union, and I gave him the union number and everything, and he said, we can't help you here. You should have got certified.
In the military.
No, in Massachusetts. Your
Oh.
dad should have got you certified with all the training that you said you got there. You could easily been in the. I said, well, it was not a big deal then, and I was acting up, and they put me into service. I didn't get a chance to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Ain't nobody out here gonna hire you to be no heavy equipment operator without being in the union."
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking around, and I saw this really, really little guy driving a little bulldozer. And so I said, "The guy you work for, you think he'll hire me to drive?" a bulldozer, and he said, where are you coming from? And I told him the Army and all that stuff. He said, well, ain't nobody going to hire you up here. This is my bulldozer. He said, the only one's going to hire you is me. And I said, well, if you can hire me, I'd be glad to do it. And he said, okay. I forget what he was trying to give me, $5 an hour or something.
Mm-hmm.
The bulldozer operators, they were getting $15 and $20 an hour.
Right.
And he said, I want you to come tomorrow and I want you to dig a cellar for me. There was no stakes or nothing.
Mm.
So I did what my dad taught me to do.
Right.
And I'd start down and I'd push it up and I'd come back down and I'd push it up the other way. And then I'd go around and I'd push it to the right and then I'd go like a square. And he came down there and he said, what the hell do you think you're doing? I didn't tell you how to do that. I said, well, that's what I learned to do. And he said, well, you did a good job, but I got to go in there and start filling in a little bit. You did it too deep. I said, you didn't give me no sticks or nothing. I just was trying to do a good job for you. Yeah. And one of the black guys had a dump truck, and he was doing all the work for the city and the state as a minority.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, he said, you just stick around and we'll slip you in there someplace.
Right.
In the meantime, me and Pepper started driving tow trucks.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good deal for a while until Pepper got shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we got separate tows that night, and he got the tow to go down to Chinatown. And when this guy saw Pepper parked next to the cars with his lights on, he thought Pepper was going to take and repossess his car.
Mm-hmm.
And so he came out and he shot Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
And shot Pepper. And Pepper rolled under the
truck?
under the tow truck.
Mm-hmm.
And he could see him walking around looking for him to
Shoot him again, yeah.
Shoot him again. And somehow Pepper reached out as he went by and shot him. He
Yep.
shot him through the heart, and he was dead before he hit the sidewalk.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
But in the meantime, he shot Pepper in the leg and he shot him in his arm.
Right.
Yeah. And so he was in the hospital for a while.
Yep.
And then they had I forget what they call that, where they have to put you on trial.
Mm-hmm.
And
Arraignment.
yeah, but it was something else they called it.
Mm.
And so that's the only way that he didn't have to go to jail. They said, well, you know, that was justifiable homicide.
Right.
The guy was coming out and he thought they was going to take a car that he wouldn't pay for.
Right.
And attack you first. And so they had that hearing and they said not guilty and all that.
Right. Right.
But Pepper started getting phone. The guy was Filipino,
Mm-hmm.
and Pepper started getting calls from the Filipino community. He said, "There's plenty of us around here. One of us is going to get you."
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then him and I started riding together.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
We were well armed and we had plenty of bullets.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you guys used to go have, you guys used to go eat at the same restaurant.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Pepper fell in love with the waitress, and the
Yeah.
waitress fell in love with Pepper.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. And the story was told years later.
And we found David years later.
Yeah, David years later.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got a tow for two young ladies one night.
Yeah. I got a tow to go pick up. I think it was a flat tire or something. They didn't have a flat tire, so
Yeah.
we towed them to our shop.
Uh-huh.
And one of them was named, I think, Kathy, and the other one was named Judy.
There's Linda and Judy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ended up your mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then your mother was taking you down to meet her father,
Mm-hmm.
and she knocked on the door, and her father came out, or something like that. And he said, I don't want no niggers on my property, and I don't want no niggers in my house.
Yep.
That was a sad, sad day. 'Cause this, and, I mean, that hurt Judy really, really bad.
Yeah.
But you was a beautiful baby.
I remember that day.
Yeah, how could you remember? You was just a baby.
And I was a little older than being a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sat me on his lap.
He did?
Yep. He had all of his furniture was made out of he had made his own furniture from the logs and cutting down trees.
Mm-hmm.
And he sat me on his lap and he said, I want you to go slap that bee for marrying that nigger.
Mm-hmm.
And she grabbed me, and that was all that was all I ever knew of my grandfather.
Yep.
Yep.
And his son, what was his son's name?
Rick.
Rick.
Yep.
I was with Rick when he called his father,
Mm-hmm.
and he was mad as a hornet.
Right.
He
right.
said, Dad, you don't know what you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
You do not know what you're missing.
Right.
All you have to do is get together and be around her
Right.
for 5 minutes, and you find out that you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, I'll die first.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, he was...
My grandmother wouldn't see me either. My mom had to show up at the house and then turn around and put me in her arms.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
she told me that was the day she was cured of her racism.
I took and picked her up from work. Do you know about that one?
Yeah.
I picked her up from work
At the bowling alley.
at the bowling alley, and she got in the car, and she was going, "Whoa, that was a rough day. They worked me like a nigger." Oops, so I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say that. You know, I'm not like that. And I kept saying, Mom, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I've heard that several times. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
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 So.
I remember going to her house, the pink house, up on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 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 Just overlooking all of the port
Mm-hmm.
and all that, and her making me iced tea
Mm-hmm.
and bread and eating breadsticks.
Mm-hmm.
I remember catching a gardener snake in her backyard
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well-
Mhm. Yeah.
and running from it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
So-
when I look at the videos that we have for her out in the boat fishing and stuff,
Yeah.
she was having a good time.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. It all came together.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't many homes in the 70s with a black grandmother and a white grandmother
Nope.
fishing together, going to the horse races together, and black cousins and white cousins.
The world is much different now than it was.
Yeah.
It ain't near as good as you would think it had been all that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, at what point did you start driving truck?
Well, right across where the tow company was,
Mm-hmm.
there was a big blue van pulled up there one day, and I forget his name because I got to know him. He was loading furniture going someplace, and I said, I'd like to buy a truck like that. Where can I buy one? He said, this is a brand new truck. You go downtown, and he said, the Jewish guy owns a truck place.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out now that it was across the street from the guy that makes them cars with no engines, electricity.
Mhm.
What are them things?
Cars with electricity?
They all run on electricity.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this guy here tried to buy. Oh, he tried to buy. Not Facebook, but another company.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, man.
Okay. So then you started driving. So you bought it. So you went and
I
bought
went-
a truck, or you?
I went down there and I said, I want to buy a truck like that guy
Mm-hmm.
that's driving that blue truck. I saw him up there. Which call? He said, I don't know which guy it is, but some guy came in here and bought a brand new truck, and that's his old one right there, already painted blue.
Right.
And I said, well, how much was that one? I forget what he told me how much it was. And he said, I'll give you, you can make payments. And he said, you live here in Seattle. When you come in and we'll service it and do everything for you. And I said, I'll buy it. And so, before that, I was hauling cars.
Mhm.
I had a roll truck. I had a big roll truck.
Mhm.
Me and Fred would run that,
Mhm.
and we was driving tow trucks. And when a car was damaged or was no good no more, we'd take it and we'd strip it down, keep the generator, keep the battery, and keep the tires.
Mhm.
And then we had a cable and a big winch about that big, big cable, and
Mhm.
we'd just pull the cars right up on the thing,
Right.
and we'd take them to the junkyard, and we'd get paid so much a pound and all that
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And we kept doing that, and then we decided, instead of pulling one car up, we'd load one car on the truck, and then we'd bring the other car right up to the end of the truck,
Mhm.
and take our car and pull that car on the truck back over the top of the first car, put a chain around them and chain them together through the windows, and then that big winch, we hooked it to the bottom car, and we'd pull two cars up.
Mhm.
So that worked out really good. We were hauling two cars instead of one car,
Right.
and that started getting profitable. Plus Fred, who was working at night, he'd go around in the alleys and every place and look for cars
Mhm.
and put signs on them saying, we'll be glad to pick your car up
Right.
and take it to the workshop.
Yep.
We got a lot of cars like that.
Yeah.
And then what we'd do, we'd get a car that was ready to go.
Mhm.
We'd take off the front wheels. Take off the front wheels, we'd jack it up, back the truck up in front of it, and we'd hook the front of the car to the truck, and we'd take three cars in.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there was a guy named Joe Hunter.
Mhm.
He had a junkyard, and he was furious.
Mm.
And he tried to stop us from doing junk cars.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But he didn't know Fred was a cop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Fred took care of him, went downtown and
Yep.
got our permits and everything, and we were good.
Yep.
But anyway, I got this global truck already, and you don't remember where the global office was?
Yeah. In Anaheim.
No, the global office in Seattle.
Oh, I don't remember what that was.
That road that went to West Seattle.
Mhm.
It was under
Underneath the.
that, yes.
Okay. Underneath the
Yeah.
the road. Yeah.
So I got to tell you about it in a minute. Ooh.
Yep.
Putting fish, catching in the canal,
Mhm.
catching lobster, digging clams,
Mhm.
digging oysters.
Yep. How often did you guys do that?
When Uncle George would come down from Boston,
Mhm.
he'd take us down there every other week.
Right. Right.
He had to come down to see his kids
Yeah. Yeah.
that my mom was taking care of,
Right.
and he'd go out and take us all quahogging.
Yep.
Or my aunt was my aunt was taking us out fishing. Aunt Grace.
Yep. So you got your truck.
I got the truck, and I called.
So you were talking about Fred.
Mhm.
So tell me about Fred and Richard.
Oh, Richard.
There was the racism against black people, but there was the hatred toward white trash.
Yep. Fred worked for the Seattle Police Department, and he knew that they were out for Richard for doing drugs,
Mm-hmm.
and
And he was selling too, right?
yep,
Was he? What was he selling?
marijuana. Marijuana.
I thought Fred said heroin too.
He could have been.
Yeah, yeah.
He could have been. I was going to say he was into just about everything. Anyway, I called Global Van Lines
Mm-hmm.
and I said, I have a Global truck that I just bought, and so used to own it. It's already painted and everything. I wonder if I could get a contract driving for Global Van Lines. He said, sure. He said, let me do some checking around to see what we got, if there's anything you can bring down for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, all right. Called me back in a few days. He said, this is the address where you can go pick up your trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what's under the,
Yeah.
what's it called?
Under the road that went up over the buildings and everything across to West
Yeah.
Seattle. Yeah.
So I went down there and I picked up the trailer.
That would go over. That would go from like the 90 across Lake Washington, right?
No,
And then you could turn off.
no.
No.
You could go down. You could go down the hill.
I remember the turnoff on the 5 that would curve around and.
If you
You go
if you
down
came
into
down I-5 from the north,
Mm-hmm.
you'd get down past Seattle, and there was a turnoff there where you went to West Seattle,
Right. Right.
and under that overpass,
Right.
is where Global Van Lines had their little office,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where they had that trailer.
Right.
It's I picked up the trailer, and I said, well, what are you going to have me loaded? And he said, no, you're not qualified yet. We have to just bring you down, and we appreciate you bringing our trailer down, because
Right.
that's not yours yet either. So I got down there. Oh, your mom said, well, what are you going to do with me?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm taking you with me. I'm taking you with me. We're going to go down, and I'm going to go to the classes that they want,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're supposed to give me a load. They're supposed to give me a load to bring me back up to Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
because Boeing's had a lot of business.
Right.
And so I got down there, and I was supposed to go to school for a week.
Mm-hmm.
I went down there, and they were showing me how to pack the trailer. They were doing thing one way. I said, no, I don't want to damage anything like that. We're going to do it this. I'll do it this way. And they had a bunch of pads there, and I was padding stuff and putting them on. He said, you know what? You need to start giving the classes.
Mhm.
Honestly, he said,
Yeah.
you should start giving the classes. And I said, well, no, I don't. I didn't come here to be no teacher. I want to drive. And so they gave me a trailer, got me all signed up, and got me some uniforms.
Right.
Yeah, man, that was hot to trot. And I got my first load. Supposed to be going to Seattle, and they gave me a load going to Colorado. So I went to Colorado, and then they didn't have nothing in Colorado, and so I said, I'm going home. So I took and went home with an empty trailer.
Right.
And then you could park your trailer down on 4th Avenue at the truck stop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I left it. I no more got home. No more got home. They said, we got a load for you out of Boeing,
Right.
going to White Sands, New Mexico, to the proving grounds over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was yet.
Mhm.
They said, we're locking it, and they put seals on it. I took it down there. I didn't know it till I was almost there that they had a security car following me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I got it down there, and I took it to where it needed to be taken off, backed up to the dock, gave them the key, they opened the doors, and that was the end of that load.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that for, I don't know, 3-4 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was not doing that good in the wintertime. So I started hauling Christmas trees.
Okay. There wasn't as much work in the winter.
Huh? Yeah. I started hauling Christmas trees. And I'd haul Christmas trees down, and I'd haul slider, shares, and other back. So I did that for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the winter, I was doing that, but I'd also haul Christmas trees. I'd go to the forest wherever they had them and load Christmas trees and make 3 or 4 stops going down.
Right.
And that was with a flatbed trailer. And then going back up to Seattle, I'd get freight.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get freight and haul freight up. One of those times you were in the truck with me
Uh-huh.
coming out of Oregon.
Yep.
And lost my brakes.
Lost your brakes, I remember.
Yeah, you. and your
Couldn't
mother.
forget that one.
Huh?
Couldn't forget that one.
And your mother. I told your mother, get ready to hand him out the wheel to that other truck driver.
Yep.
And that way, if we crashed
Yep.
with no brakes, he wouldn't get hurt. Yeah.
Yep.
But I fought that thing all the way down that mountain,
Yeah.
and we ended up doing okay.
It was after that I started having the nightmares of going off a cliff every time you were going.
Yeah. All the way up to 1978.
Well,
No,
what,
we moved it, huh?
Well, we moved in '77,
Uh-huh.
but before that you had a pretty set route, right?
Yeah, back and forth to Seattle.
Seattle to LA
L.A.
to.
Seattle, back up to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you went sometimes across to Boston.
I did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's when you'd come fix the house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Anything my mother, I'd call her and tell her I was coming, and she'd make a list of things that I could fix or paint or do whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was doing good. That's why I bought her a brand new Toyota.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. So Hazel ended up with a car. Yeah.
And then the accident.
Yep.
And you had a load. What were you? So you started out.
No,
I remember it was only It was only like the second time I didn't go with you. When Mom went with you.
We had they called me up, they said, Ron, we got a hot one for you. And you're the only one that can get it there. So we got to find you a co-driver. And I said, well, I don't really need a co-driver because my wife is very capable of being a co-driver, and that's what I'm going to do. And they okayed it. I knew the load would just fit in the back of the trailer, but it wasn't going to be any load on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the liquor store off of Harbor Boulevard,
Mm-hmm.
and
The one just over Ball Road, just past the motels. Yep.
and I got like 24 cases of Coors beer.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a guy that wanted me to bring him some Coors beer. And at that time, they wasn't selling Coors beer in Massachusetts.
Right.
So I went down and saw him, loaded the beer, tied it all down, and we said we need to find somebody for you.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out, I guess it was Tony Ferreira.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yep. And we headed out. We was doing really, really good, and we got that load. By the way, was going to Bill Rooker, Massachusetts, and it was computers for I forget. I'll remember though.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got that thing loaded and we took off, and we were doing good till we got to Dallas, Texas. And that's when the weather started getting bad. There was no snow, but it was rain and ice. Slicker than all get out.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't let your mom drive. So I drove, and we just kept going. And the further we went, the worse the weather got. And we got up to Kokomo, Indiana. And I pulled in a truck stop for the night because I said it's not safe to drive this thing at night. And I didn't know how well they were taking care of the road, so I pulled in there for the night. And I woke up early in the morning, maybe 6 o'clock or something like that. I got everything loaded and I got on the freeway, and I just started out on the freeway. I didn't go more than 10 miles. And I looked up and I saw this car coming down the wrong side of the freeway. Yeah. I don't know what the hell to do. So I said, I'm going to the ditch or the woods or whatever it takes. Yeah. Next thing I know, I was laid on the ground, and they said we need a lot of cars was around, and a nurse came,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, anybody got any blankets or anything? And your mother said, your mother was still in the sleeper. That's
Right.
what it was. Yep.
Well, she had leaned out. She
Mm,
had climbed into the sleeper. She was in the driver's seat
mm,
as you went over.
mm.
And
Yeah.
then she climbed into the sleeper,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for somebody to help her get up
Mm-hmm.
the other side.
And she got sleeping. She got blankets out
Mm-hmm.
and got them out to them. And they yep. She said, my God, honey, don't move, you lost your legs. Remember that clear.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we were thankful, praying and everything else. So happy we didn't have you with us. Yeah. But the way you like to ride up front, right up the,
Yep.
yeah.
Mm.
Yep. So we got we're lucky we had that nurse behind us.
Yeah.
Lucky. She took my belt and made tourniquets out of that. Somebody else gave up their belt. And they loaded me in the ambulance. We had the siren on. And the guy said, well, we got to get him there. He was bleeding to death. And I said, you better slow down. It's very, very slick outside.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need another accident. Yep. There's an ant going up that bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, we called home and said, told them don't tell our son that we had an accident.
Yep.
Yep. But
You remember greeting me at the airport? You remember me greeting you at the airport?
yep, I do. Yeah. I don't think you believe I lost my legs.
No, I didn't. That's why I ran up inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, Pepper had flew out. That was a big deal. That was yeah. He wouldn't go home.
Mm-hmm.
His job said if you don't show up for work on such and such a day, you're fired. And he said, I ain't leaving my brother. So, of course, he lost his job. Yeah. And if it wasn't for Bill Bowens getting a private jet to pick me up in that snowstorm, and the pilot kept saying, Pepper had gone, he had left the hospital and took back a rented car and was trying to get a ride back to the airport. And the pilot kept saying, no, we gotta go.
Yeah, yeah.
This thing is, we gotta go. This thing is coming over the top of us. We're not gonna be able to get in the air. We're gonna have to leave him. That's all there is to it. We can't take him out of the plane, and we gotta leave. I gotta leave him.
Mm.
And the next thing you know, Pepper showed up. They opened that door, and he came flying up there. And before he could sit down, the people had that plane going down the runway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The pilot was saying, "You guys hold on. This is going to be a rough takeoff, and we don't know the weather. We got to get up over this storm." Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
LAX. Yeah.
It's a FedEx terminal now.
Hmm?
It's a FedEx terminal now where you flew in.
Is that right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We landed and I had to tell you.
Yeah.
Then they was anxious to get me in that ambulance and get me to the hospital out there.
The orthopedic hospital.
Yep.
Off the 110. It's one that's a children's hospital now.
And the first one to say anything was Dr. Luck. He said, I don't have to wonder what's going on. He's got bacteria and poison in his legs, because you could smell it just like it was during the war.
Mm-hmm.
During the war, he said, if I walked in and smelled that, I knew exactly what it was. Yeah.
Gangrene.
Gangrene, yep. Yeah. And then they wouldn't put me and your mother in the same.
Same room.
In
I
the
remember
same
going to
room.
both rooms. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember going to your room and then her room.
Yep. They said, no, we can't put them together. Yeah.
Mm. Yep. Yep. I remember Pepper was there,
Mm-hmm.
taking me back and forth.
Yep. He didn't want to go home.
Yeah, yeah.
When he did get home, he got all the kids and drove back down from Seattle.
Yeah. Yep. So then after Mom got out, then we'd come up.
Mm-hmm.
The steaks. The steaks and avocados.
Those people in that hospital thought we done gone crazy.
And mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh. Yep, yep. Then Bill Moen came to visit you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sure did. He
Yep.
was a good man.
How many surgeries did you have at that hospital?
13.
Mm-hmm.
Had 13 surgeries. Yep. They cut all the skin off of my leg up here.
Yeah, yeah, that big patch.
Yep. And they saved it. And they rolled me in there. And boy, you talk about sting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I put that thing all over it. And Dr. DeShazo
Mm-hmm.
did all the skin grafts and everything.
Right.
And Dr. Google said, we fixed this leg here, but it will be fine for about 15 years. And after 15 years, you will no longer have this. They'll have to cut it off about there, and you won't have a knee to walk on.
Mm-hmm.
And that turned out to be true because I got the same knee. It gives me a little bit of trouble with the skin graft. It works.
Yep. And then you got out 3 months later.
Yeah. Yeah. That friend of mine, she couldn't wait up to get up to the hospital. It pushed me out of the chair, pushed me down the elevator and stuff.
Yeah. Her name was Debbie. I forget her last name.
I can't remember.
Yeah. And we greeted you at the house. Newspapers on both ends.
Huh?
Newspaper
Mm,
reporters and photographers at both ends.
But when I went down to go out though, they stopped giving me morphine,
Mm-hmm.
and I was having a
Phantom pains.
yeah. So they rolled me back up and gave
You
me.
remember when you first got the phantom pains? When was the first time you remember getting one?
That thing hurt so bad all the time that I didn't ever think it was going to ever quit.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on out until this day, I have phantom pains, but I can pretty much control them when I see them coming when they start.
Mm-hmm.
Not so bad when you get one, but when you get both phantom pains in both feet
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, yeah, pretty hard to handle.
Did you have it? Did you have those when you were before you flew out? Go back to LA.
You know what? I was in so much pain. I don't know whether it was phantom pains or what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And the smell was so bad. I knew there was something wrong. Papa knew there was something wrong.
Right.
And when they rolled me out of that gurney into the emergency room right off the bat, they started working on me big time in a hurry.
Right.
Yeah. I had 13 surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
13 surgeries.
That first hospital stay, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What did they put on your legs in Indiana?
Cast,
They put plastic casts on your legs.
plastic cast. And
So
all
they
that-
just encased all that.
Huh?
Instead of
Encased
letting it drain, they
Yep.
did the
That's what-
opposite.
That's what caused the gangrene, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't have much of this one left either, anyway. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I hadn't seen my mother or nothing in about maybe 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I didn't even know she was coming. And I heard her and Dr. Cooker out in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Mrs. Harding, we're going to go in. We're not going to push him because he's at a stage now. If he lives 2 or 3 days, he'll probably make it. But right now, he ain't doing real good.
Mm-hmm.
And so he opened the door, and my mother walked in, boy. She said, you get up off yourself and you start walking and getting yourself ready to. She said, there's no sense you laying around here feeling sorry for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I said, I heard somebody out there talking, and somebody said that I might not live more than 3 days. And I said, that is, oh. Yeah. I said, I'll be just fine. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I forgot about them. I forgot about that nurse that came and stayed with us and took up absent, I believe, from up
Mhm.
there. Yeah. Bill Bowen showed up
Mm-hmm.
all the time. What was the dispatcher's name? Can you remember?
Bruce Woods.
Bruce Woods.
Yep.
Yeah. I heard he died.
Mm. Was he a Bruce? Was he a dispatcher at Global before he did it for us?
Yep.
So when you were driving, he was one of the dispatchers,
Yep.
and then Gail was one of the dispatchers, right?
No, Gail worked in finance.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gail worked in finance. And her husband got the first transplant, heart transplant,
Hmm.
in the United States.
Oh well.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.